The discussion of the week is going to be super series, as Jerms likes to coin them. These are series that are 100 plus episodes. Is that what we settled on,
Or
Jerms?
50, either or. Basically, when you're 50,
let's say 100. Let's say 100. Let's go
boys,
the extreme. Let's say
boys.
like the long running series. They're typically shonen, and yeah, we just want to bring you guys a anime discussion on what we think of long running series. So let me throw some questions at you, Jerms. In this seasonal format that we have with anime, always wanting the latest and greatest, it's if you're not watching the latest season, then you're behind. How are long running shows, still faring? We have
Boruto.
And when I say, yeah, we have like Boruto, we have Black Clover, that's no longer on the air. One Piece kind of transcends, One Piece has been going on forever.
Case closed.
But yeah, case closed. There's Shin-Chan. I think Crayon Shin-Chan is probably one of the long ones still going. So how do they fare in this seasonal format? Because everyone wants that fast food. They want to be
everyone's
up to date,
talking about it.
Watch every week. They're caught up every week, and it seems like if you're behind a week, you're behind. And yeah, with long running series, it's just a different vibe. Would you say it's a different vibe because they're not coming out within seasons? They're just continually coming out.
Yeah, that's why I think a lot of like the long running series, we don't even really notice our long running series these days. Like, one Attack on Titan's a great example. It's been like so many episodes. I don't think it's been 100, so it's not a super series, but it's just like
I think it's in the 70s.
Well,
I think.
Yeah, it's still one of the
but it's getting up there. It's getting up there.
So it's
but because that one's seasonal, we don't notice it. Probably, you know what I mean.
Everyone had a little bit of time, like everyone had that, like half a year, or whatever, to catch up. I had a bunch of friends that caught up, right when the last season was coming out. So I mean,
look at Mal, real quick, not to interrupt you. Look at Mal. If you look at the popularity on Mal, when this last season of Attack on Titan was airing. Season 1 was already like at the top. Everyone's seen season 1, but season 2 was rising. Season 3 part 1 was rising. You would see the following seasons rise in popularity because everyone wanted to catch up before the final season.
It's really hard for some series to long running series especially to get those kind of numbers and get that kind of hype. Like the only kind of shows I can really think of that would get that kind of hype easily are like Demon Slayer, or what's the Kaguya, probably, those kind of series where it's already kind of like a long running. I don't really see like people. Can't even really imagine people like seeing latest season Boku no Hero and start going ham, start catching up all these 4+ seasons.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
When's the
tipping point? This is where I want to go with the conversation. Yes, when is the tipping point? When is the show too long? You read my mind, Jerms. This is why we are co-hosts with one another. Yeah, that is my next question. When does it get too long? And let me put down a little hypothesis, a little thesis on my part. I think the reason Demon Slayer is so freaking popular is the movie. Everyone loves the movie. But the first season is only, 24, 25, 26? It's 2 cores. It's like 25 or 26. If you want to watch, and that came out in 2019. It's 2021. If you want to watch Demon Slayer, you only have to sit through 26 episodes and you're officially caught up. You can go check out the manga. You got the movie. Everyone's crazy about the movie.
And you still got time for season 2.
You still got time for season 2, and that's why I think everyone is in love with the show. A couple weekends ago, I went. Let's just say I hit up some weeb shops, some good anime merch, and all the anime merch nowadays, dude, is all Demon Slayer. Years ago, it was Boku no Hero. Boku no Hero was the next big shonen that sort of replaced the big 3. We had Attack on Titan, huge. One Punch Man, huge. Sword Art Online, huge. But nowadays, dude, it's Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is not even a question. It's pulling away by a large margin. And I know some people are going to say, well, what about One Piece's manga in Japan? Yes, of course, that's going to be the king of manga over there in Japan. But over, globally, over here in the States, from our vantage point over here, the biggest anime right now, no doubt, no questions, is Demon Slayer. It's not even a question. And I think that's because people don't have to get caught up. You know, people getting into anime now, everyone knows Boku no Hero is big and popular, but they got to go sit through 4 seasons, man. And if
There's
no
no
one's
end in
hyping up
sight.
this 5th season, yeah, exactly. You know, a big one of the recent popular shows that I wanted to get into, but I just failed in getting into was Food Wars. I watched the first season and I was like, it's just not doing it for me, man. And so I didn't go on to the second season. It just felt too generic shonen to me. Again, if Food Wars was only 2 seasons, maybe I would have checked out that second season. But because it was too long, which is, you know, the question that we're debating here, I was like, I'm not sitting through 4 or 5 seasons, whatever the
Still
hell
no
it's
end in
on.
sight.
It's a lot. Yeah, still no end in
Unless
sight.
you know the
People say,
manga.
yeah. And people say that the first season, it only gets worse. Like it starts off really good and it slowly descends. And I'm like, well, I didn't love the first season. Another one, and you're going to hate me for this, Germs. You're going to tell me I'm wrong. Let's get into a debate if we have to. But Haikyuu, right? Haikyuu, by all accounts, because of its popularity, because it's a sports anime, because of the action, I should be in love with that show. And I want to be in love with that show. But fuck, man, it's just...
It's so
It's
good.
too long, so I haven't checked it
I
out yet.
know.
And yes, I know I'm missing out. But it's the time aspect, man. If Haikyuu was 2 or 3 seasons, I'd check it out right now. But it's just a commitment. And I think people are afraid of commitment with anything, with movies, with books, with TV. The longer something is, the more you know that you're going to have to strap down and be in for a long ride. And I think that, you know, I think it depends on the viewer. But to answer the question, I do think that there is a too long, depending on the type of fan, depending on the type of person that wants to get into a show, you know, depending on where you're at in your life. If you only have a couple hours to set aside for anime every week, or, you know, just wherever people are at with the show, you know what I mean? Would you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And if you look at, I'm looking at the top anime series on Mal here, and seeing number 1, it's so easy to see like this kind of trend here. Full Metal Alchemist, a full 64 episodes, a whole complete shabam story right there. You don't need to, you know, that's it.
That's it. There's no it's Brotherhood that you're referencing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is the top one? Yeah, and that's it. You're not going to get a season 2 of that. They gave us a movie, it sucked. But there's no continuation of Brotherhood. That's it. You watch all of Brotherhood. I recommend seeing the first season first, but again, you don't have to. There's a reason it's a reboot. Again, it doesn't cross, it's not 100 plus. You know what I mean? So it's not that super series length. It's a longer-ish running one. But yeah, people look at Brotherhood and they say, oh, everyone hypes up Full Metal. Let's check this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only series on like the top 5, which it's funny because it's number 5, is Hunter x Hunter, and that's at 140 episodes. That's the only outlier here. But is it because it's, you know, everyone knows it's said and done 140 episodes? You know, I think that's mainly the question here. Is I think at the time when these kind of shows are running, that you can't really see the impact it's going to leave. You know, it's kind of like you gotta let it see what people are going to continue watching it, or, you know, like, oh, does it have a good ending? It's like, oh. So I think that's really the question with a lot of these long running shows is like, I think people just don't see the end in sight. Instead of like, well, what's the point of even starting if I don't even know how long I have to keep watching this? Like, well, like One Piece is a perfect example. It's like, it's the ultimate. It's so big and you don't even know when it's going to end. 5 years, 6 years, 7 years.
Well, let me give some context. So the list that you're referencing, these are the highest rated series on Mouse. So for the people that did get into them, they loved it, right? So the people that did get into Brotherhood, they loved it. The people that, you know, the second on the list is Attack on Titan season 3 part 2. The people that did watch that loved it. Steins Gate, that's a shorter series. Gintama is a perfect example of a long-running, convoluted series. And the people that do watch it, again, it's not everyone. It's not the most popular show out there, but the people that do watch it love it. Same with Hunter x Hunter, right? But if you go to most popular, let's take a look at the most popular Germs. Number 1, Death Note. More people have seen Death Note on Mal than any other show. How long is Death Note? 37 episodes. Who recommended Death Note as a beginner anime when we did that video? By the way, link in the link up here. Number 2 on the list is Attack on Titan's first season. Now remember, back in the day, people didn't. It was so overhyped. Yeah, I'd say overhyped. It was so overhyped. People didn't know if there was going to be a second. Everyone just wanted to check it out, right? So that's a little bit of an
Cosplays for
outlier. But
days
third, we have
everywhere.
it was everywhere. You couldn't escape it. And so that's why a lot of people checked out the first season. There was a big break between the first and second season. That's why you're not going to see the second season nearly as high. That's why a lot of people dropped off. Third on the list, Brotherhood. 64 episodes. Yes, it's long, but there's no continuation. That story is complete. Fourth, SAO.
No, I don't want me to think about it.
Back in the day, I thought that there was only going to be one season. When I found out there was a second season, I said, why? There's a second season, why? Another discussion. But, number 5, One Punch Man.
Oh,
Great first season. I don't know why they did a second season. I know that the manga is good. I don't know why JC Staff did a second season. But again, if you look at this list, it's a lot of series where I bet people didn't think of a second season at the time. They didn't see them as long-running series. You know what I mean? When
number
Punch
8
Man came
here.
out, it was only number 8.
Naruto. That's still,
Yeah,
that's probably the big
it
3.
transcends, man. That's what I'm saying. It transcends that. You know what I mean? It's just so big, I guess.
Yeah,
Your boy, one of your favorites, Tokyo Ghoul, is here, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if the hypothesis holds up, but I have a feeling that at the time that people watched One Punch Man, at the time people watched SAO, they weren't expecting a second season. They weren't thinking about it as a long-running show. That's why all the tops spots for most popular are going to be the first seasons, right? Because no one's going to watch a second season without having seen the first season,
Yeah, and I think really the big question is, are big, super long series are even possible these days? Unless it's, it's already got a huge backing with it already, Like Black Clover's, and the only example I can think of currently that just come out and just had tons and tons of episodes and still got more to come out.
But is that model viable? Let's be honest. Is Black over here in the West, right? I don't know about how big it is in Japan. And I know that the manga's good. People say that the manga's great.
Oh, yeah.
But was Black Clover ever on the level of like Boku no Hero or Attack on Titan? No. Just objectively and just in terms of popularity, in terms of the anime, it just never got there. Boruto. Boruto's coming out weekly.
I forgot.
Is that shit anywhere? How popular, it's brain fart. What's the studio?
Period.
It's the Period model. I mean, is Boruto anywhere near as big as it should have been? Dude, think about it. It's the continuation of the Naruto IP. Like that, Boruto should be the next biggest thing, and it's coming out, and no one's caring about it. Ooh, I said that. Manga readers, I know the manga's good. People say the manga's good, but in terms of the anime, no one's talking about it. You know what I mean? I just don't think that this long running weekly type of format's gonna fly anymore. But it's just my opinion. Would you agree with that, Jerms?
Yeah, I think so. There's so much accessibility to other content, and they're making so many fire shows each season. Just watch 1-2 seasons and you're good. I don't think really people have the time anymore. I think that's the big thing. We barely have no time to watch the shows we're watching weekly, let alone watch.
I'm already behind. I'm behind on Shaman King, dude. You would think 6 is fine every week, but no, even I've fallen behind. There's just so much distractions in the world we live in 2021. On top of all the great anime coming out, I mean, it's a lot. You know what I mean? And they're coming out with more content than they've ever come out with before. I think we'd both agree that they're coming out with higher quality content than they've come out ever before. So for a new anime fan, if you want to get into seasonal stuff, it's like, where the hell do I look? Look at this season alone.
Don't even need to look back. Don't even need to look back.
I know, and I fear a lot of older shows are going to be forgotten because of all the new stuff coming out. I mean, do you check out 86? Do you check out Vivi? Do you check out
Shadow's House?
Do you check out Tokyo Revengers, Nagatoro, Shadow's House?
That's just this season alone.
Do you try? Yeah, do you try and get caught up with Boku no Hero? Like, and then there's stuff that we haven't even talked about that other people are watching and really, Fruits Basket is coming out this season. Like, where do you look? Where do you go? All these shows that people love and people are really behind. You know what I mean? It's crazy out there. It's crazy out there in the anime sphere. But, you know, I mean, first world problems. I mean, I guess we're complaining that there's so much good shows out there. I mean, look at us. But, I mean, it is going to be a problem for a new
Yeah, we're already years
for
in
the new
deep,
audience.
and we're still behind.
Yeah, we've already seen our fair show. We've already gone through the initiation process of becoming an anime fan. We've already gone through the classics. We've already gone through, you know, the stuff that we should see. But for the new people, do you go back and try to watch all the stuff that you're supposed to see, or do you try and keep up with the seasonal stuff? It's hectic out there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So final thoughts on this weekly discussion. When is the show too long? You want to put a definitive, you got a number in mind or anything in mind for that, Jerms?
Yeah.
When's a show too long?
I think once you get started getting around like season 3, especially if it's like 24 episodes each, especially like I say after episode like 50 or something, you don't even know when the end's even in sight. You're just like, fuck. But
then you're in for the ride.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, you know, if it feels like there's so much to, like with Broken Hair, like it feels like there's infinite amount of things that can be going on right now. Where they feel like, you know, he's still still like first year. Think about it, we have a whole 50 episodes for a second year, you know, 50 episodes for a third year, you know, maybe in reality it's not going to happen like that, you know, it probably won't, but just the thought of it.
But it feels like that to the viewer, to the viewer that doesn't have any. They don't know anything about the manga, which again, you have to assume the anime watching audience doesn't know about the manga. They're only watching this adaptation of the manga, right? Like me, like I don't know how long I'm not reading the manga. I don't know how many arcs are left. I don't know any of that stuff. And this is why I said before the season started, I said, are we really in the 5th season? It does not feel like Deku and his class has grown enough within 5 freaking seasons. Like we're on, in my eyes, we're in like season 3 territory, and they need to grow and, you know, become heroes and all that. But we're on season 5 and we're still doing training arcs. We're still doing the whole 1A versus 1B type of stuff. Season 5, I mean, this is we've seen this in season 2, you know, we saw a training arc in season 1. We're just getting school training arcs one after another. And yeah, I mean, that's definitely when you know that you're in for the long ride. And yeah, I mean, listen, the standard back in the day, you know me, I've been watching anime since the 2000s. The standard was 26. Most shows were 26 episodes. Nowadays, I don't know, because a show will come out and maybe a season 2 gets announced, maybe it doesn't. It's kind of all over the place nowadays. You know, you never really know, and it gives the studios, gives the animators more flexibility,
which is nice,
and I
higher
appreciate
quality.
that. But back in the day, it was 26, man. It was 26. A lot of shows were episodic back in the day, so every episode had a storyline, and then near the end, you know, they'd wrap things up. But these days, it's really kind of all over the place. If you watch a show this season, I don't care what season, I don't care how in the future you guys are watching this and coming back to this podcast.
Holograms.
If you're watching a show this season, yeah, exactly. If you're watching a show this season, you don't really know if it's just going to be that, unless they announce it. You don't really know if it's just a 1-season show. You never know anymore. It might get a 2nd season, might get a 3rd, might be 1 core, might be 2. You might be in for 12 or 24. You never know. The final season, part 2. You never know what you're going to get with shows these days. So, oh yeah, guys, what do you guys think of long-running shows? I think Jerms and I are kind of. We see the flaws in them, but, you know, we recognize some of the greats, but I think we see the flaws in people trying to get into, you know, the new generation trying to get into anime. Seeing all these long running shows is probably daunting for them. Comment below. What do you guys think about it? All right.